Hi guys, it's Hanya here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to make wholesome watermelon cookies. I'm going to share with you step by step how to make watermelon birthday cookies. Before you can decorate, you need to make the cookies and royal icing. And for all the recipes, you can visit my blog, hanielas.com. Link is in the description box under this video. And today I'm going to be using 4 different shapes, so we better get started. First design, it's the party hat. So I'm using 15-second consistency royal icing here. I colored my royal icing with red food coloring. It's not deep red, it's more like a pinkish red. But you can go with deep red or even light pink, doesn't really matter. Just make it so you like it. And now we're going to fill the cookie. So I outlined with the 15-second and I'm filling it with 15-second. And use your scribe tool to smooth the icing, distribute the icing, and then you can forget about it. And the next step, we're going to create the skin and the grind using a really fun technique that I think you are going to like. So on my work surface, I've got a food wrap and I'm piping. You can see this is a very stiff icing. So I'm using stiff icing here. This is about the consistency I would use for the piped roses. And I'm piping green and also some white next to it. You want to pipe more green than white, and then wrap it and create like a pouch, bullet. You want to tie one end, make a knot. You can stretch it a little bit if it's too short. And now we're going to put this into a piping bag. So I'm going to be using this petal tip. This is 150 petal tip. You can see it has the, well, you couldn't really see there, but it has the same width throughout. It's not wide or narrow, so it's the same width. So I'm going to use this to pipe the ruffle. First I have to make sure that I have both colors coming out. So wow, it's coming out nicely. So now I'm gonna start at the very bottom, and you can see I'm going up and down as I move across the bottom of the cookie. You want to make sure that the white, that's the grind, is facing up, and the green is the skin of the watermelon. Isn't that cute? Now for the seeds, you want to use about 25-second consistency royal icing to make the seeds. It's better to use thicker icing for this so you don't have cratering. And I'm also going to add highlight using white royal icing. To add the highlight, you need to use a piping bag with a really small opening. Ideally, if you are using a piping tip, it should be like a piping tip number 1, so very small opening, and you want to add like a line under the wet seed there. Now to finish, you have to let everything dry or at least crust, and then we can do the star at the top. I'm using piping consistency, or like a medium consistency royal icing, not really piping, but it's thicker than flood, to make the star, and then dust it with some gold sanding sugar. I love this gold sanding sugar. It's by Wilton, and it's fabulous. Now to remove any excess, you can use a decorating bottle, and that's how you can make the party hat. Now you can pour the sanding sugar back into the bottle and set it aside. Now to make the present, I decided to do a watermelon print. And to do that, first I'm piping watermelon shapes, halves, onto my cookie. If you make a mistake, no need to worry. Just use your scribe tool, boo-boo stick, to scrape it off, and you can start over. I'm using white royal icing, 15-second consistency, and I'm going to outline and flood the cookie. Avoid flooding over the watermelon shapes. And we're going to fill these with red. I decided to do this way because these watermelons are quite big. They're not small, so I wanted to avoid overflowing of my icing. So this way, I'm just going to add the right amount of icing on the cookie, and it's not going to overflow. If you're just adding small shapes like little dots or some small flowers, it's okay to add it onto the fully flooded cookie, but with larger shapes like these, I prefer doing it this way. And now I'm using the same red icing I used on the party hat, so it's 15 seconds. With the scribe tool you can accentuate the corners, and we're going to switch to green, and this is the skin. So you can see I've got white base, so I don't have to pipe white grind. I just have to go a little further, keeping the gap between the red and green, and the grind just happens naturally because of the base color is white. And now add the seeds using black. All of these colors should be about 15-second consistency. After this you have to let it dry, and I'm going to accentuate the whole watermelon design with edible marker, and I'm using black edible marker. This is a brand that I love using, and I've used it in many of my videos. It's Rainbow Dust, and I also like using their brown. It's also very nice, but for this tutorial I used black. Now for the bow I'm using the same, this is like a mustard color, I didn't mention that before. So what I did, I colored my royal icing with yellow, and I added a touch of ivory, or you can also use brown. And this is, I would say, like 25-30 second consistency or around there. It's quite thick, so you have to use your scribe and agitate it to smooth the icing. Now we can do the second loop here, and I'm going to let it crust, and then we can add the, now I can't think of the name what these are called, but you know what I'm talking about. And after this let it crust again, and then you can add the knot at the very top. To finish the design we're going to paint the bow with gold luster dust. So the bow needs to dry, and then we can use gold edible luster dust mixed with some Everclear. This is clear grain alcohol, very strong alcohol. It's going to evaporate very quickly, and that's what you want. You don't want to have liquid sitting on your royal icing. Royal icing is mainly sugar, so if you have liquid sitting on it, it will start dissolving and you'll experience spitting. Now for those of you who haven't already, you can also sign up for Haniela's newsletter, where you will receive updates about new tutorials, classes. I also send out reminders about live streams, and the link for that is in the description box. Now let's do the cupcake. So I'm using edible marker, drawing the outlines onto the cookie, and now we can start with the bottom. So I'm going to be doing the liner first, and I love gingham. I love gingham so much that I decided to do the bottom with the gingham design using a homemade stencil. You can also find a tutorial on how to make the stripe stencil from the cardstock. Super simple to do on my blog. Now I'm placing my stencil over the cookie. I have it in a stencil holder. If you don't have a stencil holder, you can use magnets. Now I'm adding a drop of green airbrush color and several drops of yellow, and to mix these you just have to hold and move the trigger, and then it's going to mix the color together, so you will have a really nice bright green. And now I want to make sure that you are spraying light coats. Okay, don't do heavy coats, do several light coats. It's much better doing several light coats than one heavy coat. And try to aim at the edge of the stencil, and then move your airbrush gun across so you can evenly airbrush. And then also don't forget to hit the center of the stripe. I'm also using my scribe tool to keep the stripes from moving, so I don't have underspray. And there, isn't it awesome? I love gingham. Like I said, it's one of my favorite things to airbrush, because it's you see the results right away. So now I'm using white royal icing. This is supposed to be the grind. Remember, watermelon has white grind. And then we're going to move on and do the swirl, the cupcake swirl. And for that I'm going to use that same red we already used on the party hat, and also to make the watermelon slices. So I'm starting with the middle, and then we have to let this crust, and then we can finish adding the top and the bottom. If you're experiencing cratering or dimpling, you can add a line in the middle, like a zigzag line, let it crust and then pipe over it, and that should mitigate that problem. Okay, so this is the third design, and we have one more to go. And during the live stream, because I decorated these cookies in one of the live streams, many of you expressed that you liked the last design the best, so I hope you guys will also like it, watching it as a tutorial. So let me know in the comment section down below which of these cookies is your favorite, and I'm excited to read what you guys think. So now we're just going to outline, finish the liner. I'm using piping consistency royal icing for this, following the scalloped edge at the very top and then connecting the top line with the bottom. And now for the seeds, I decided to pipe small lines to represent the Jimmy sprinkles. So that's the watermelon, and here's the last one. So I am using a birthday candle, and I'm going to create a watermelon skin pattern on this candle. So we're going to alternate two green colors. So I've got dark green and also light green, and both of these are 15-second consistency. I'm not waiting for the icing to crust. I'm piping the icing right one after another, because we have to blend the edges. Okay, so I'm not gonna keep it like this. I'm just gonna go zigzag across. You don't want to blend the colors, but you want to kind of disturb that straight line, and it's going to create that watermelon look. Super easy to do. I love this. And then to finish, let it crust and we can make the candle. So for the candle, I'm again using that mustard colored royal icing that we used for the bow, and also on a star on the party hat. And now let's do the drip. For the drip, you want to use about 20-25 second consistency royal icing. It should be fluid enough so you can smooth it. And then we have to let this dry. We're going to paint the flame with gold, and before you can paint it, icing needs to dry. So give it a couple hours, and then you can paint with edible gold paint. All right. Oh, and I completely forgot that I also did a watermelon. I forgot, so we're doing 5 cookies, not 4. But this is a very basic design. I wanted to just include a watermelon slice. So this is a small cookie, maybe 2.5 inches across. I'm using dark green and light green, and then kind of blending them a bit. And then you can do the grind with white. I can't believe I forgot that we have 5 cookies. And now I'm doing the red in the middle, and then we're just going to pipe the seeds, disturb this line here so it looks more natural, and then pipe black dots into the red. This is all wet on wet, super easy to do. And so here they are, watermelon birthday cookies. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And for those of you who are new to my YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you get notified about my new uploads. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.